Hello guys, and welcome back to Commander, the Great War with our Entente playthrough. In the last episode, Russia's invasion of Eastern Prussia and even Austria has begun. The Germans and Austrians are mobilizing to every front, and with the French, we are trying to push an offensive while countering an ongoing offensive. And many exciting naval things are happening, such as currently just outside the Straits near the UK. This is actually where I'm going to highlight before anything else. We lost a light cruiser, and I'd say that could be a big deal. It's the first real naval loss of the war. The Germans rushed out, I believe, from their ports here with a light cruiser of their own, level 3, and some other pre-dreadnought or dreadnought that is currently in this area. And I had set my navy here up into little tiered groups so I could quickly respond to wherever they chose to make a move from, should they make a move. So I believe we can get full scope over this situation using the one British submarine we have in the area. So I'm going to move the submarine up, and it can clearly see that we are dealing with two German dreadnoughts, and it looks like theirs are actually better than mine, level 3. Germany just gets better everything, don't they? This is really weird balancing. Not all German dreadnoughts were that good, so that's really confusing. But we can see that we can very effectively cut off their retreat home here. We already have a submarine blocking part of the way, and we can respond to this in a number of ways. The biggest problem that we may run into here is going to be, well, the dreadnoughts themselves, because their stats are definitely better. Okay, looks like they're not insanely better, but they would still, for example, blow my pre-dreadnought out of the water, no problem. I'm going to use the pre-dreadnought for what it will be good at. I'm going to bring it down here to the border with the Netherlands, and it's going to be used to fight the light cruiser. Even though the dreadnought can get a shot in without losing anything, the dreadnoughts I see I'm going to need to fight the dreadnoughts, and I can only get 2 of my own dreadnoughts in during this right now. I can get like an armored cruiser in here, but in terms of actual dreadnoughts, these 2 are currently too far away to actually be included in the fight, albeit we have plenty of light cruisers that can get in on the fight, which are probably better saved for dealing with the light cruiser as well. So with one of my dreadnoughts, I'm essentially going to blockade this area here. They can still go around, but the point is they have to go around. I'll take the other dreadnought and put it just northwest of that. They may think that they can get in between, for all I know, but they can't. So they'll either have to get around, or they'll have to try to go through. I can make that even harder for them by taking the light cruiser that's out of range and putting it right here, so that we have a nice little, if it works the same way, zone of control here with which we can fall back on. Now, I don't know how this works if I go into a port tile, but I'm going to take one of these light cruisers that's currently guarding this transport. I'm going to move it into a port tile, and looks like I still have the ability to attack. That's good. That's what I'm looking for here. Alright, so I'm going to take the... I'm going to take the armored cruiser. I'm going to use it on this light cruiser. We have to get it out of the way. It's level 3. It's problematic. It's almost equivalent to our pre-dreadnought. This light cruiser is... Look at the stats at the bottom. It's almost equivalent. It's so hard to show you this, but at the bottom there, you can see our stats versus its stats. A level 3 light cruiser is basically as good as a pre-dreadnought. That's insane. Yet we're still going to get some good damage here. We can see everything we do here is going to cost us ammo, though. And this is why I went and I built up some more ammo for Great Britain, because I knew a naval battle would happen. I didn't think one would happen so soon, but look at it this way. The German fleet is smaller than ours. They have far less of everything, and they have shown 2 of their only dreadnoughts. So let's get this out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and attack here. We lost 1 point for our pre-dreadnought, and they lost 6 points for their light cruiser. That is an amazing trade, if we are being honest here. I'm going to take the light cruiser that we have, and we're going to try to finish off their light cruiser, which would be another amazing trade. Compare my stats to theirs. Mine, level 2, are actually pretty good too. Can't imagine what a level 1 looks like. I wonder if you can level up your... You can, yeah, you can level up your troops. I don't know how or when it works. I think it's technology based. And if it is technology based, that means they start out with some pretty good technology. Let's go ahead and finish this off. Alright, cool. You know, I don't currently... Weird. Can I see my ammunition total just on another screen? Okay. Weird, it doesn't seem like I'm consuming ammo. Oh, I see. It doesn't automatically consume ammo. The ships are loaded with ammo. Oh. So that's like total amount of shots, I suppose, and how much ammo each shot consumes. That's very interesting. Alright, well, we now have them flanked by a pre-dreadnought. We have other dreadnoughts right behind them and a hidden submarine. There's a lot that we can realistically do here. And I think it's probably best if we just get our dreadnoughts behind them. It looks like there's a fairly sizable way that you can just go around other ships in the water. So I think I should try to utilize getting behind them instead of trying to fight them up front. That way if they do run away, I could maybe catch up to them as well. They've shown themselves. They now either have to go all in or not. I mean, this is what Great Britain was really afraid of in World War I. They were afraid the Germans would show themselves, but they wouldn't have showed themselves in such a weak state, if we're being honest here. So let's go ahead, and we're going to take this dreadnought, and we're going to... Do these guys have a stat difference? No. We're going to bring ourselves around here. Oh! This is some pretty good stats for attacking that dreadnought. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to shoot at it with the dreadnought. What are some of these stats? What is this? I don't know what that is, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire because it says, even though theirs are superior in level and stats, that we are apparently going to get an amazing, amazing result. Let's go ahead and shoot. We dealt 2 damage, not 3, but we took none. And yeah, I think my ammunition stayed the same. Bombard, ammunition. Is there some kind of difference here? If there is, I can't see it or tell. Well, the ammunition might actually be for, yeah, bombard, like bombarding the shoreline. I don't know exactly, but let's see what else we can get in here. Our armored cruiser is likely going to be useful for taking this guy out. So I think I want to move him up close so that he's in there and capable of dealing a hit. There we go. Yeah, because he can deal a pretty decent hit, I think. I'm going to take this light cruiser and use it to finish blockading this part off, since I see how easily they can move through this area. This transport will have landed this turn, so we don't need to worry about that. I'm going to move my other dreadnought forward, and we're going to just straight up attack it. We're going to apparently deal 5 and take 0. That would be nice. We dealt 4, but we did take 0. Its efficiency is down to 8. Its health is down to 4, and we can apparently finish it off with this armored cruiser. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Special event SOS, the destruction of a whole battle fleet has demoralized the nation. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember the game gave me a tooltip and told me that if you lose a battle fleet, you lose 20% national morale. Now, I didn't know what a battle fleet was, and Great Britain doesn't seem to be very affected by the light cruiser they lost, so I guess the dreadnoughts are just worth the most. You lose a dreadnought and you lose 20%. That means we... Oh, wow. Can I see their national morale? I mean, I doubt it. But that means we just vastly hurt their national morale by taking out one of their dreadnoughts. There's still another one here to take out, and it could easily just try to get away. I can make more light cruisers. I can make more submarines as this goes by. The dreadnoughts are the big deal. If I trade 2 light cruisers for 2 dreadnoughts, this will have been a very successful battle. Let's say that right now. Especially if you go and look at what it takes to make more of these fucking things. A light cruiser costs 40 production points. Compare that to a dreadnought, which costs 80. A light cruiser takes 12 turns. A dreadnought takes 20 fucking 4. Also, I'm realizing you can't make armored cruisers, just light cruisers and dreadnoughts. They must be outdated. And then there's submarines, which they cost even less, but in my opinion, they're probably better for most roles, you know, because you can lose more of them without having to worry about it. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Well, in that case, I'm going to take this light cruiser. I'm going to park it right here and make a little bit more of a blockade as I have here. So we'll have to go around, and hopefully it can't travel that far. It probably can. But the idea is I want it to go for a light cruiser or something and stay here so that I can wipe it out as well. Because if I can get like 40% national morale gone from them by wiping out 2 ships, dude, that's awesome. Still focusing on our navy, I'm going to take the Russian sub, which is actually trapped here by the looks of it. And I'm just going to try to leave it somewhere where it can see this area as kind of a spy. It can see 3 out. So 1, 2, 3. I can go to basically any of these locations here. And I want to put it in one where it's not exactly going to get run into, hopefully. I mean, it's very likely to either way. I want it to be able to see the area surrounding, so if an enemy fleet shows up, I know where it goes. I know whether or not I want to confront it or run away from it. So it looks like this is a good spot. We can keep a good eye on the location over here, and hopefully that will be sufficient. The French fleet, you know, I'm about to land this infantry here. We're just going to go ahead and land him right there. We'll be on the move as of next turn. And now I have to take these French ships, and I'm going to move them southeast so I can, you know, unify my French fleet here. At least that's the goal. You know, maybe I should put 2 subs here. Kind of stupid. Probably stupid, but I'm going to put 2 subs here, because I think that would be more interesting. No other reason. I just think that would be more interesting of a blockade. So if one gets fucked up, it has a chance to retreat, but there's still another one here ready to kind of go on the attack. Does that make sense? I'll put it back down to 1 if I really need to, you know, make the most of what I have. Let's get this armored cruiser still moving northwest so that we can meet it up over here. I'm not quite sure what to do with this light cruiser, because I don't want the dreadnought to try to go this way, seeing a chance to escape or go intercept one of our convoys. So I want to impede it in some way. So I want to maybe leave it where it is, right here. But I also kind of want to put it up here so that I can more effectively block this dreadnought's way out. I mean, what's the movement speed of it? Is there, yeah, 12? It can't outrun this dreadnought. It's behind it. It can't hope to outrun it. It's just a matter of keeping track of it if it does try to outrun it. If this dreadnought's, you know, the only thing here, how the hell am I gonna find this fucking thing? Everything else is like a little too far to spot it for me. So I think I might leave this one back here just to keep an eye on the German dreadnought and see where it goes and maybe stop it from going somewhere. Also, where's this thing over here? So it's probably going to go straight down this way, yeah. Well, actually, you know, here I have some more ships on the way. Here's a light cruiser, which is going to go just straight up like this. A pre-dreadnought up like this. A level 1 pre-dreadnought. Are all my pre-dreadnoughts level 1 for the Brits? I mean, it makes sense, I guess, if it's a pre-dreadnought. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, I guess so. Kind of sad that we did lose a light cruiser, but man, I have so many. I just don't like suffering losses. Sometimes a loss is good. A light cruiser for a dreadnought was definitely worth it. If I lose anything else, even an armored cruiser, I'm going to say that's worth killing a level 3 dreadnought. Why are they all level 3? It's just the Germans. This game balances the Germans by just making them OP. It's really interesting, and I can't wait to play as the Germans and experience being OP like that. Now going to land. Looking at the Serbian front here, it's not as good as it could be. I've already repaired some units that needed repairs. Low efficiency, I see. Well, I mean, not a lot I can do about that. Except replace the unit, I suppose. Speaking of replace, I need to get this army here. So let's try and move this guy where he may end up being needed. Maybe this is a good reason to have a backup. Of course, if I had infantry, you know, this might not even be an issue to begin with. But let's move this guy down here. Let's put the army in his place. There we go. I also want to move the artillery, because I don't feel like it has much purpose here where all these corps are, or garrisons. I'm used to other games where it's like garrison core army, so that's why I keep doing that, rather than small garrison infantry. Since this is all garrison-based stuff, there's very little I can do up here. There's one army up here, one. So there's not a whole lot of striking back I can do. So I'm going to actually move my arty piece to the northeast a little bit. It doesn't even have the ability to fire right now. Put it right behind Belgrade. I mean, that's the most important place I have right now. Forego these fortifications for now, and maybe we can get him over here if he needs to be moved over there. His efficiency is still pretty top-notch. You know, that's probably why those other garrisons weren't worth as much. They probably lost some efficiency. And to survive that, they just have to not be attacked. Looking elsewhere, our French and British garrisons that I've deemed to make are ready. Oh, let's see, they're colonial nations. This means that next to normal deployment, they can deploy new units along the bottom row of water hexes on the map. Oh, I see. They will appear in transport ships and suffer a small efficiency penalty. And with Britain, I could even just deploy shit straight up in Egypt. That might be a reason to create some British units, like specifically for Egypt. That's good to know. And the French, yep, the French could be put in Africa. I think Africa would be far less problematic, though. British units in Egypt will be necessary, so we may want to look in on that. This garrison was made specifically for London, though. This French garrison was just made for the front in general, for defending Paris, really, and for, you know, having a garrison present in a relevant location. So I got a couple things I want to do here in France on the Western Front. One of the first things I'm going to do is take the Belgian armored car. I'm going to move it forward to reclaim this little piece of land here, even if we're not going to, you know, attack, and I don't necessarily plan to hold it. Armored cars retreat very quickly. I'm not too worried about the manpower of Belgium or their production points or anything like that. The reason I am doing this is to assert a front at least for a moment, since I know it'll retreat fairly quickly, fairly easily, and to reconnect the supply line solidly to Antwerp. I'm also going to take this little swamp hex back using... which cavalry should I use, actually? Probably this cavalry makes the most sense. They're both units that, you know, they retreat fairly easily, so long as you give them a chance to, which can also be an undoing. But that's why I think they're perfect for reconnecting the supply line here. I'm going to land the BEF right where these fortifications were set up by this cavalry, so they're safe while they land. You know, they're missing some efficiency. Maybe I can let them rest, but they're ready to push forward should a push here actually come to fruition. I am also going to move this garrison forward to roughly, I don't necessarily want to get in the way of this if something happens here, so I'm going to move it forward just to these fortifications instead of pushing it too. I wanted to put it here to make more fortifications, but I don't want these guys to get pushed back and then overlap and then one of them die because I didn't leave enough space. Over on the Western Front, along where the Maginot would become, I should just call it Alsace-Lorraine, that's what it is. I don't think I need to put any more firepower onto this garrison here. I think it's in a fairly vulnerable situation already. I'm going to go ahead and just straight up attack with this infantry right now. Okay, and we pushed it back just like that. It gave up valuable fortifications that are already set up right here, and that's pretty big. And it's almost dead. That's a German level 2 garrison almost wiped out and one step closer against the enemy front. Now, what's so great about this little move here is they have a fighter back here, and they've just kind of left it open now that I've pushed this far. Now, here's where the front is going to start to get a little weird, because maintaining any push here without more units is going to be difficult. And it's 2 turns until this group of infantry is done and I can actually put them there, down here, if this is where I want them. I'm spread pretty thin as it is. But hey, look, I mean, there's all sorts of things I can do. I can cut off this infantry unit. I could go right for this fighter. I am going to push this unit up a hex. They could push down and around here, but quite frankly, they won't accomplish a whole lot by doing that. They have nothing over here that could actually threaten me down here. Just a dying garrison and a small garrison, which we could easily wipe out with these two armies, no problem. The threat comes to this artillery, but I would get this artillery out of here before a threat actually became problematic. Now, I'm going to take this artillery piece and I'm going to use it on this level 2 garrison that has kind of forced its way down our throats over here. And we do 1 damage, and hopefully we also take an efficiency away from them. This is good. They don't have many places to run, so anything we can accomplish here would be better than nothing. I'm also going to take the fighter, I'm going to use it to strafe this infantry that has been pushing further into our lines, even abandoning its own fortifications to do so. Hopefully and successfully, I believe, hurting its efficiency. I'll take our new general, Joffrey, and attack this garrison with him. We suffer no casualties whatsoever. No efficiency loss either, and that's always nice. We dealt, I believe, 1 damage to this garrison, which is better than nothing. All I really have left to attack with is another garrison, which is not ideal necessarily. However, one thing I'm going to do here for sure, I cannot safely wrap around here because of their sheer number of troops here. However, they just left me fortifications in a forest and the ability to cut off their supply line to one of their infantry. And you can damn well bet I'm going to hop off of these fortifications, hop onto this one, and surround this dumb little bitch. Now, realistically, this guy is probably just going to make his next move stepping up north. But, nonetheless, I've cut off his supply line. We may get to attack him next turn with better odds than this. I don't want to really risk his statistical advantage here necessarily. But even if he moves north, we have successfully pushed him off of this front, and I think that's more important than I really understand how to give credit for. And now we can take this infantry here, which is still in range of our commander, yes, still in range, and also use him to attack this garrison. We actually lost 1. That's no good, but we dealt, what was that, 3? 1 more than we were supposed to deal, so maybe that was worth it. We can do some repairs later. We didn't lose any efficiency, that's good, and this dude's down to 5. We could maybe make use of our garrisons here, and maybe get a good result going on. I mean, the garrisons just sit around anyway. So, yeah, we could. Dude, can you imagine if this infantry stood still and just attacked Verdun? Dude, I hope he does. Because then he'll be out of supply, he'll be assaulting Verdun, and he'll be surrounded. That would be amazing. But anyway, for now, the real stuff that we're actually looking at here, I'm going to take this garrison, and I'm going to risk attacking another garrison with it. A statistically superior in terms of defense garrison. Let's go ahead and attack. We lost nothing, and we dealt 2. I could not have asked for a better result there. And now we could maybe make use of the Verdun garrison. Oh my god, we killed it, boys. That's it, yep. We just wiped out an entire level 2 German garrison. I mean, that may not seem like a lot. And really, compared to everything they have, it's probably not. But, you know, it adds up, right? This may be one of the cheapest things. It costs 10 production points, 5 manpower. But it's something they have to make again later if they want more of it. It's very limited, and especially since they lost national morale losing that dreadnought, I think that is a win. Now, I'm not going to move forward and claim this tile, but I think that that is a win. As for the French garrison that I can deploy, I'm going to go ahead and deploy it right next to this spot so that I can maybe fill it in like that. It's not going to be needed up here necessarily at the moment. They're not pushing, they're barely holding on to what they have. They may skirmish with me up here, but now that the BEF is up here too, they're not going to have that easy of a time of it. And if they do try and push, in 2 turns, I'll have 2 infantry waiting for them. And if it's more than 2 turns, they're going to lose steam on their offensive anyway. So I'm going to put this garrison here. You know, we're getting fortifications at key strategic points where it matters. And frankly, I think the Western Front's looking pretty good. I'm trying to not be over-aggressive because this game is a little unforgiving with losses if you attack stupid targets. That's something I learned with Serbia real quickly. With Great Britain's current points, I'm going to go ahead and follow the plan that I had. I'm going to purchase another ammunition production and get them up to 8 per turn. Looks like the ships won't consume as much as I was thinking, so 8 might be a good spot to leave it. We'll see. I'm just going to buy it up to 8 just like that, and we still have 47 production points to work with as Great Britain, and I think we should definitely put that to use somewhere. Like I was saying, I do believe submarines have a very useful purpose in this game. At least I might be wrong, but I do have enough to make 2 submarines here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. It doesn't cost a lot of manpower, doesn't cost a lot of upkeep of production points, and they finish in 4 turns. And I think they could be especially useful in escorting convoys because they're so cheap compared to everything else in every single way. And it's not that they're necessarily inferior either, because it would take a light cruiser to counter the submarine. Assuming they send any ship except a light cruiser after our convoys, the submarine can do pretty well. Now, light cruisers need to counter submarines that go after our convoys, but they're also twice as expensive, and they take 3 times as long to make. I can make these faster and get them on target sooner. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to purchase 2 submarines as Great Britain, because I do think it's going to come in handy and will certainly make up for any ships that we are losing right now. At least that's the way that I see it. And now Great Britain's basically broke. As for France, they have 39 points. I've already done any repairs I need to do with them, and their income could be a little bit better. I'm still making 2 infantry as them, so it's not like they're getting weaker. I'm going to go ahead and continue to purchase more ammunition production because we're not even keeping up with me firing this single artillery every single turn. France definitely is going to need to get to at least 10 ammunition production per turn. I don't know how high I'm really going to get it, but we're definitely going to get it up to 7. That's for sure. Great Britain, again, I might just leave at 8 because I don't really know how much the ships are going to consume. 8 might be sustainable. We'll see about that going on. 10 is just a nice round number to start at, to look at expanding towards later. And then with that done, all I really have to look forward at right now is Russia, because Serbia, well, actually Serbia could produce another infantry right now, but if I do that right now, we might not have enough points for any repairs that come next turn. So I'm going to put that off a turn. So they seem to have trained forward some infantry that was on another front or something, because there's this infantry here with only 7 efficiency and missing 2 health. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Russian infantry and actually move it forward to this crossroads where it will be able to strike at this. First and foremost, I'm going to shoot it with the fighter planes, which I feel like I just lost 1 of, even though it said 0. Either way, we lowered its efficiency even more, and that was kind of the goal here. I am going to move my artillery up so that it can be in a more favorable position for shooting fucking anything. One thing I'm going to do here, because it can be undone later, is I'm going to swap the infantry with the garrison here so that my infantry is right next to this artillery, which has unwisely decided to just, I can't even comprehend why it decided charging at Warsaw by itself was a good idea. I'm going to take this army, and naturally I'm going to attack that bitch, and it looks like it ran away already. So that was pretty good. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh god, what are you doing? Ugh. I'm going to take this cavalry. I'm going to send it down there as well. Get a nice peek at what we're dealing with here. So we see a German garrison. That is it. Pushing its way up through Poland. Not much of a threat. But if it keeps just going like a knife through butter, we're going to have to clearly intercept it with something. Maybe this army, albeit I'd prefer to keep it down in the south. But for the reason I brought the cavalry down, shebang, shabong, say goodbye to that fucking arty piece, man. I am not going to push forward and put my cavalry at any more risk than I already put it at. Looks like they have another cavalry back here, a small garrison, which I feel like they just kicked off of the town. There's an Austrian garrison pushing up. Their ability to function as a coalition will not cease to amaze me. They are staffing Serbia more increasingly, if you haven't noticed, with German garrisons, because they're basically as strong as an Austrian army, almost, yet they're still just garrisons. They cost less, they're less important, and they're redeploying all the Austrian armies to deal with Russia and to go onto the Western Front. It's very weird. I'm going to try to continue forming my frontier. I'm going to take this garrison, I'm going to push it right up here so it's also bordering Königsberg. I'm going to take, let's see, these garrisons have to move up northwest so that they are ready to meet this front, let's say. So the cavalry are going to fill in for where the infantry currently cannot. This one cavalry is going to slice through their territory, and it's going to basically capture these fortifications. Another cavalry is going to form this little solid line with this injured garrison that I chose to leave here and repair somewhat because it's on some fortifications anyway. Maybe a little bit of a dangerous thing if they choose to double down and go for this cavalry, but it should have room to retreat, albeit into the enemy territory. I'm not sure if that would really get in the way. The north garrison, I'm just going to move straight kind of northwest into this area. And this one, I'll go toss onto these fortifications, so hey, you know, at least it's in a fortified area, and maybe I can use it to respond here, although probably cavalry would be best to respond to this, unless it just goes up the road to Warsaw anyway, in which case just, you know, swap the army back here, and then fuck it up, maybe throw in some cavalry to make it a little faster. It's very clear that more infantry will be needed up in this region somewhere, so I'm going to take another one of these infantry back by Moscow, and I'm going to rail it. I wish I could rail it further, but there seems to be some kind of a range here. Where can this one go? Yeah, I'm just going to rail it right over here by Minsk, let's say. Rail it down to Minsk, and then send it generally this way. The last one I'm probably just going to send more around by Riga. The one that I sent to Kiev is now just going to march its way down here and make its way towards Austria. I've just noticed that nearly the entire Austrian border is guarded by Germans. I don't even know where the Austrians even are at this point. Probably struggling to get to the fronts. Probably with far less rail capacity to do it. I'm going to take this infantry that came south here. I'm going to leave this spot open for this infantry. We can have like an infantry on either side. I'm going to move it closer to the Austrian infantry, which amazingly our odds are pretty terrible against, which I don't know why, because we have full efficiency and they do not. They're in a grassland, we're in a grassland. What the hell's the difference? Why are their units so much fucking better? Hello? It's an Austrian. Austrians aren't supposed to be good. What kind of alternate dimension is this? Oh, okay, I see what it is. It's von Hindenburg given a buff over here. He's making my life difficult. Well, if all we did was hold on Austria, that'd be fine so long as we could push in Germany. And Germany does not have enough troops to man every front they're manning. Really, I don't know where the Austrians went, but Germany does not have enough troops. They're manning the entire Eastern Front nearly by themselves, virtually. They're trying to man the entire Serbian front at this point, and they're trying to man nearly the entire Western Front. The Austrians are hardly doing shit. Wow, this is really like history, isn't it? So, if they want to hold me back there with von Hindenburg, they can. I'll go where von Hindenburg isn't. Now, I do need to spend my production points with Russia. I know exactly what I'm going to spend it on now that I have a gist of how this is going. I'm going to buy another armored train with it. Maybe this isn't the best thing to use Russia on with their massive manpower. Clearly, I should just be pumping out infantry. But I'll do that. I'll get to that. I want another armored train. I want maybe 3 armored trains, in fact. But for right now, I can only afford one, and we're going to buy one. The reason I want one is because they hit like a, well, train. And they're very good armor piercing. They're very good at assaulting locations. Very good for pushing. And that's why I want a couple of these. And I've gone a bit over the time here, but that is certainly a nice full episode. I may have missed doing a thing or two, and if I did, I'll do it at the beginning of the next episode, where we will also end our turn, see the results of this one, and formulate a new amazing battle plan. This has actually been a very amazing turn. I'm very happy with it. Only hitting end turn could ruin this for me. So rather than do that, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.